introductory session. Today, I have volunteered. Actually, it's been a long time since I went to the bookshop, so I thought maybe now we can go to the bookshop. So I thought I'd give talk and get a 50 ringgit voucher. Right. Today, I'm going to talk about the IDI. I think everybody knows what the IDI is, at least by name. Okay. To start with, IDI stands for ICT Development Index. Okay. This index comes out from the ITU. Alright? They are the ones who started it. And through their activities at their headquarters in Geneva, it has disseminated all over, and it has actually captured a lot of interest in Malaysia at least, where there was some discussion about actually making the IDI one of our KPIs, Minister punya KPI. But of course there are problems involved, which after going through this presentation, you will understand. Okay? So, the objective of this presentation is to bring you from a slate board all the way up to the scoreboard, right? Which means from the initial conceptualization, the structure of the index, how you calculate the index, and the scoreboard, where we are vis-a-vis the rest of the world. Who is in the top 10, who is in the bottom 10, who are our neighbors, how do we fare among ASEAN countries, among our top 10 trading partners, and so on. Okay. So let us start by taking a look at the slate board. Actually, this was inspired by Tan Sri Chairman, because when I was supposed to talk about this to Exco, he says, can you go and get a slate board, because if you want me to go through all this, I'm used only to a slate board, and find the slate board and show me. Okay, so there it is, but he's not here today. Too bad. Alright, some background on this. The IDI came about from two World Summits on the Information Society, or WSIS for short, which called for benchmarking information society developments. Okay? There were two phases to it. The first one was in 2003, and the second one was in 2005. The 2003 summit was I think, the one that started out with the Geneva Plan of Action, simply because the meeting was held in Geneva. Members requested a realistic international performance evaluation. Whether the IDI fulfills that or not, we have yet to see, right? But understand the idea that an index is basically a contentious issue. There's no perfect index. Whatever you do, there will be bound to be some parties who are dissatisfied. And as in the case of the IDI, in Malaysia, we do have our own reservations. Okay, and in 2005, at a meeting in Tunis, this is basically a tale of two cities. What started in Geneva went on to be reiterated in Tunis in 2005, which not only enforces the need for evaluation through indicators and benchmarking, but actually make a call for it to be done on a repetitive basis, on a periodic basis. But this doesn't mean every year. Okay, the periodicity was stipulated, but how frequent it should be done was not mentioned. So if you're going to set a KPI based on this, obviously you're running a problem, because how are we going to ensure or check to see if you have attained your KPI if the ITU does not complete for that year? Okay. A little bit of background. In conjunction with WSIS process, we have a number of ICT composite indices that has already been calculated by ITU. Among them are the Digital Access Index, or DAI. Okay. It was calculated for the year 1998 and 2002 for only 40 countries, and that's it. It was calculated only once. So don't ask for the DAI for the year 2008. There's no more DAI after 2002. Okay? In 2005, ITU and Orbicom. Orbicom is actually a network of 250 associate members. There's some footnotes here. And 31 UNESCO chairs in communications all around the world. They have their own index, which is called the InfoState Index. So in 2005, ITU and Orbicom decided to merge the DAI. Remember, DAI comes from ITU, huh? To merge ITU's DAI and Orbicom's InfoState Index to create what is known as the ICT OI. OI stands for Opportunity Index. And as though there's not enough, you have another one. Sorry. You have another one in 2005. The ITU index called the Digital Opportunity Index, also developed as a part of the WSIS Geneva Plan of Action. So there you are, you have three indices here, and they all measure stuff about ICT development, and as a result, everybody got so confused. What are they trying to do? One index should be good enough, but there are three indices and more. Okay. So in 2007, ITU engaged in a process to relook the entire thing and to make concrete proposals for the construction of just one index. Okay, to replace all index. The index to replace all other indices before it. And there was some debate in 2005, I remember, whether to stick to ICT OI or the DOI, pick one of these, or come up with a totally new index. Okay? The result was a totally new index. And that new index was called ICT Development Index. The objectives, it is supposed to measure the development of ICT in countries. Alright, and to compare one country with another country. And especially important is to track ICT progress over time. That means you look at one country, what is your progress over the time scale? And if you're comparing with other countries, then it is involving some kind of ranking. Okay? It should also measure the level of advancement of ICT in all countries. That means taken as a whole, a global measure, so to speak, that reflects the experiences in both developing and developed countries. Okay? And it should also measure the digital divide. The difference between my score and your score will be the divide. Alright? And the development potential based on capabilities and skills. Alright? Now, measuring potential is something very troublesome to say the least. Okay? This is a conceptual framework that's been used in OECD and the partnership. They are talking in terms of three stages in an evolution towards an information society. The three stages are, number one, ICT readiness. Okay, how ready are you? How network ready are you? And not only that, what is the access to that network readiness? Okay, so that is one measure. That is one area, one aspect, one stage that has to be taken care of properly before you can actually enter the second stage, which is ICT use. ICT use here refers to intensity. What ICTs you use, how do you use it, your ability to use it, which will actually feed further use, and then you enter the third stage, which is ICT impact. Okay, which measures the outcomes. So basically, if you are to follow this conceptual framework, then your index will have one called an SS index or sub-index, a use sub-index, a skill sub-index, And these three will be combined together in what is called the ICT Development Index, which will actually go ahead to show the impacts on your society. Okay? So, as I mentioned just now, your IDI, your ICT Development Index, actually consists of 3 sub-indices: access, use, skills. Okay, remember that? AUS, reminds you of Australia, right? Access, use, skills. Okay? Now, these 3 are combined in a weighted average to form the IDI. That means there are actually 4 indices, 3 sub-indices and 1 overarching index. Okay? So there are actually 4 indices. And each of these 4 indices range from 0 to 10. If a country has nothing, its score is 0. If a country has everything, its score is 10. Alright? That is the basic idea. Okay? Now, how do they combine these indices? First of all, we will talk about indicators. But then again you ask, okay, what's an indicator as opposed to an index? Or for that matter, what is data, what is statistics? So indicators here refer to things such as fixed telephone lines per 100 inhabitants. Okay, that's an indicator. Mobile cellular telephone subscriptions per 100 inhabitants, which I think you are quite familiar with. International internet bandwidth, that's an indicator. So when you take some indicators, you group them together, combine them somehow, you get a sub-index. Say for example, this is the ICT access sub-index. This is the ICT use sub-index, and this is the ICT skills sub-index. And these are the indicators within them. Within each group, the weightage is the same. Say for example, for ICT access, you have 5 indicators, right? So if you equate them, then a complete measure of 100% will be divided into 5, and that gives you 20% each, right? Now, at the ICT use level, you have only 3 indicators, and if you equate them to add up to 100, that means each one of them will be 33 and 1/3%. But shown here this is 33. In the calculators, they are set to 33 and 1/3. And likewise for ICT skills. Alright? When I first chanced upon this index and I looked at ICT skills, I was wondering, wow, great, how are you going to measure this? But when you open this up, it becomes a bit of an anticlimax, because you look at ICT skills variables, you have adult literacy rate. Alright? You have secondary gross enrollment ratios and tertiary gross enrollment ratios. How does that relate to ICT skills? You know what I mean? Alright? But you see, one of the greatest problems that the constructors of indices have, especially at IT level, is that you may be very ambitious. I'm sure they can come with better indicators. But the fact remains that if you specify some very highly specific indicators, then only a small fraction of the countries in the world will be able to supply you with that. Okay? Which means that the usefulness of this index will be restricted to maybe a handful of countries, like 40, 50 countries. So what's the use? What's the point? Alright? So the only rationale they have here is that the literacy rate, alright, is basically the ability of adults in a community to read and understand. Alright? And if you have the ability to read and understand, then very clearly you are more trainable. And if coupled with a secondary school education at the lower end, or better still with tertiary education, then that potential is there. So basically these skills is more relevant to the potential for you to develop ICT skills rather than skills outright. Okay? Now, you have 3 of these clusters. You have to now combine the 3 of them into 1. The weightage is very simple, 40, 40, 20. Alright? Okay. The next thing, this slide shows you how the build-up is done from indicators to sub-indices to the main index. Now, who supply these indicators? The individual regulators of all the countries in the world. Generally, ITU collect indicators from us twice a year through a long questionnaire and through a short questionnaire. Alright? We submit it to them and they will collect the data from countries all over the world and then they will compile the indices. Okay. What are the indicators in the access sub-index? Let me quickly go through with you. Fixed telephone lines per 100 inhabitants. Do you think we are strong here? I don't think so. In fact, this is on a decline. Mobile cellular subscriptions per 100 inhabitants. I think we are very strong here. We are already 105. Okay? But do you know what is the highest mobile cellular subscription ever reported? 230 plus by UAE. Right? International internet bandwidth per internet user in bits per second. Now, this is a bit contentious. Say for example, if a country has a lot of domestic international bandwidth as compared to international internet bandwidth, then obviously he's going to suffer here, right? So this particular variable or indicator has caused a lot of unhappiness, especially in countries like Korea, where they have a lot of local content in COVID, and traffic is mainly domestic rather than international. If you look at the list of indicators across the world, you'll find that Korea has very little international internet bandwidth. In fact, Malaysia has more. Okay, so they were lobbying like anything to take this out and replace with domestic. But in the final analysis, when they found out that they got position number 2 in the world, they decided to drop all bottles to this index. It's basically what they get out of it. Alright? Actually, if you look at the data list in these reports, you'll find that Malaysia's standing for international internet bandwidth is actually higher than Korea's. Okay? Proportion of households with a computer, which is basically a computer penetration rate, and proportion of households with internet. This looks quite reasonable, right? Except for what I explained just now about international internet bandwidth as representative of access. The next one is use. Okay, how you use the infra and the services. All right, there are 3 variables here, or 3 indicators, namely internet users per 100 inhabitants, all right, fixed broadband subscribers per 100 inhabitants, and mobile broadband subscriptions per 100 inhabitants. Okay, I think this is also quite reasonable. Indicators in the skills sub-index. Gross enrollment ratio, secondary. This refers to the number of people enrolled in secondary schools as a ratio of those in the age group that normally does secondary schooling. Okay, so there you go, that's secondary, and then again tertiary. Tertiary means for the first degree. All right, how many are enrolled in your public and private universities as a fraction upon those in the age group that normally goes for a first degree, and then the adult literacy rate. Okay, I think the first 2, that's not a problem for Malaysia, but the third one, in terms of getting the statistic, that is a problem. In Malaysia, there is no survey yet to gauge adult literacy rate, but we do have a proxy. In our book, whoever has gone through secondary school is considered literate. Simple as that. In a proper survey, if you have to do that, you're supposed to go to the household, draw an individual random, show him a passage, ask him to read, and ask him a question. If he answers correctly, he's different. Of course, that is very cumbersome, right, to do that. Okay? So these are the indicators in the skills subindex. Alright? Okay, so this is what the ITU does every year. It collects each indicator from all the countries in the world. It normalizes the values of indicators with a special treatment for international bandwidth. I will show you what I mean afterwards. It applies weights, add up products in each category, multiply category sum by 10 to get category subindex, apply weights at category level again, add up, multiply 10 again to get the IDI. Does it sound confusing? Okay, this is a bit too small. So those of you at the back might strain your eyes a bit. This is an example from Sweden. Sweden occupies position number 1, by the way, in the IDI. Alright? But they don't get 10, no. Their score is only 7.85. Nobody gets a 10. Okay? Their score is only 7.85 and they are position number 1. Okay? Okay, this is the spreadsheet that actually does the calculation. And this one is easily available in reports like this. Alright, ITU has been very transparent about the methodology. And based on this methodology, in SKRD, we have actually developed a calculator based on Excel that actually allows us to calculate and counter-check their calculations. The calculator proved useful when management wanted to use the IDI as a KPI. But I think they have kind of changed their minds. Okay, so first of all, you see there's this bunch here that is the ICT access. Do you see this? ICT access. And then ICT use and ICT skills. Okay? You have your 11 indicators, right? 5 for access. Okay? 3 for use. 3 for skills. AUS, remember Australia. Access, use, skills. 5 plus 3 plus 3. 11 indicators in all. So you need 11 indicators to build up your IDI and 3 sub-indices. Okay? So there you are. Access, use, skills. What are the indicators I went through with you just now? Okay? These are the ideal values set by ITU. You'll be wondering, what's an ideal value? Is there such a thing as an ideal value? Okay? The answer is no, there's no such thing as an ideal value. What happens here is that, for want of a better word, they put the word there, ideal. It is wrong to say that once you have fixed telephone lines of 60 per 100, that's ideal, you can stop now. It does not mean that. Okay? The ideal value is very simply the mean of all the country's data plus 2 SD. Okay? That means when ITU has collected the data from member countries and economies all over the world, say for example, mobile cellular penetration rate. Okay, Malaysia is 105. Okay, Singapore is what? 132 or something like that. They add up all these values, they divide by the number of countries. For the latest, it was 159 countries. So you have the mean, right? And then they calculate something known as a standard deviation. Okay, that's statistics 101, standard deviation. So they will take the mean plus 2 standard deviations to get the ideal value. Okay? As I think those of you who have done surveys will understand that if you plus 2 SDs, that means you are covering at least 95%. So you can exceed this, you are above the top 95%, which is fantastic. Okay? Alright. Notice that the ideal value for mobile cellular is 170. This is for 2010. Sorry, 2008. 2010 was the date of publication. You can see, you can actually download this. I'll give the link afterwards. This publication is 2010. The data inside is 2007 and 2008. Okay, for 2008, the ideal mobile penetration is 170. In 2009, the publication for 2009, this one, a year ago, it was 150. So this tells you what? The penetration rates, the mobile penetration rates across the world have actually moved up. So the mean plus 2 SDs has also gone up. Alright? The rest part of check remains unchanged. So it is only the mobile penetration that they have moved up. And they don't move up arbitrarily. How do they do that? Find the mean of all the data reported plus 2 SDs. Okay? Alright. So, for example, these are the data for Sweden. It comes in like this. And then this is how the calculation is done. First of all, they normalize. I told you just now, right? If I may go back, how do I go back? Okay. Collect, normalize. Okay. How do you normalize? You take the value here, the reported value, you divide by the ideal value. Okay? So you see 57.8 divided by 60 is quite high, right? 96%. Okay, as a fraction is 0.96. And then let's see, mobile cellular 118.3, alright, divided by 170. The formula is reflected here. So 0.7. Okay, now special treatment for international internet bandwidth. Why? You see, international internet bandwidth has the greatest degree of variation. Some countries very little, some countries a lot. So the degree of variation is a lot. So what happens is they try to make it more manageable by finding the logarithm of that number. You find the logarithm number, you actually shrink it, the range. If your original data has this range, you find the log of the data, it comes down to only this range. Okay, so it handles the outliers very well. Alright? So you find the logarithm of that and you divide by 5. Why divide by 5? You see the ideal value is 100,000, right? Log of 100,000 is 5. Okay? Alright. And so on and so forth. I told you that within each of this cluster, the weights are the same, right? 0.2, 0.333 and so on. This one also. So what happens here is that they will take this, multiply by this, then add up. Okay? You get what I mean? So what happens is, you see, take a look at this. The formulas are all here. Alright? To get the ICT access subindex, you see they take Z1. Can you see that? Z1. Alright? Multiply by 0.2. They get this. Z2 is here. Okay? Multiply by 0.2 and so on. And then they add up this way. You get a 0.87, right? Or 8.7 times by 10. So the score for ICT access subindex for Sweden is 8.7. In the same way, ICT use subindex is 6.4. And for the skills index is 0.9. I think looking at our indices, I think we fare quite badly in ICT skills. Although we are quite good at adult literacy level, 90 plus, our secondary enrollment is around 60 plus only. And our tertiary employment was like 26 only. Compared to Sweden, which is number 1, 99, comparable to us, 96.4, way ahead of us. And 74.4 tertiary, which means that almost 3/4 of their population has a university degree. Ours is at 1/4. Okay? So after they have calculated the sub-indices, they will multiply by these weights again. Alright? They will multiply by these weights, 0.4 times this, 0.4 times this, 0.2 times this, add up to give you 7.85. So that's Sweden's score. I'm sorry, it's a bit too small. Okay? Alright. Calculating ideal value of 150 for mobile cellular in 2007. Remember, I told you just now it was 170. Why am I talking about 150 here? 170 is for 2008. Alright? 150 is for 2007. So I just want to show you briefly how it's calculated for 2007 to derive 150. In 2007, 154 economies were compared. Why do they say economy rather than country? Have you ever wondered why? It's all politics. Alright? Because if you say countries and you bring in Taiwan, China is going to object. Okay? So you would use the word economy. Okay, you can't object. It is an economy. Economy is simply a group of people living within a an economic boundary, right? So the mean is calculated by adding up all your indicators and dividing by 154, right? Since there are 154 numbers to add up. And if you take mobile cellular, you add up all the penetration rate across 154 countries, divide by 154, you get 67.5. Okay? Alright. Then you calculate the SD. This is a formula for calculating an SD. Alright? Don't be frightened by this, it's very simple. You look at this carefully here, this is, you are actually squaring everything and then adding up. Then dividing by n, right? So this is basically the mean of your squares. And over here, you are finding the mean first, right? In mathematics, you learn anything in bracket come first. So this is finding the mean first and then squaring it. So the SD is simply square root of mean of the square minus the square of the mean. Mean of the squares minus square of the mean. But don't forget to square root it. If you don't square root it, it becomes a variance. After square rooting, it becomes an SD. Okay? Alright. So that's what we did, and we found this SD to be 43.3. Okay? And then the ideal value will be the mean plus 2 times the SD. 67.5 plus 2 times this equals 67.5 plus 88.6 equals 154.1. Why 150? We round it to the nearest n. Okay? Do you think you can do this? Okay? No problem, huh? Okay, I'll give you an assignment. I want you to calculate the ideal value for 2008. Okay? This is the data. Of course, you can't see. Okay, you see all the data used to calculate the index is all given here. They are very transparent, one thing I must say about them. Okay? So all the data we require are here. You can actually add up, find the mean, find the SD, take the mean plus 2 SD to get 170 for the latest. Okay? I count until 10. Okay, 1, 2, 10. Tak dapat lagi. Okay. Let me give the answer. The mean if you find for 2008 is 79.18. The SD was 44.1. So the ideal value is 79.18 plus 2 times 44.41. That will give you 168. And then round the nearest 10 become 170. So that is why for 2008, the ideal so-called value is the so-called ideal value is 170. So you see from year to year the parameters change. So unless you have the entire world's country, literally, how can you use this as a KPI? Okay? Alright. So you got wrong answer just now, no studio for you. You didn't try, no cert, no D. You can go home hungry. Okay. So, scoreboard, where are we now? But before that, any questions on how this is created, is constructed, this index? Remember, ada 3 sub-index Australia, AUS, access, use, S, skills. Access berapa indicator? 5, and then use 3, and then 3, so 11 indicators all. Okay, then within each cluster, equal weight, right? So 20%, 33.1%, 33.1%. Then within this each cluster, 40, 40, 20. Okay? Now the scoreboard. The scoreboard basically tells us where we are. Okay. This report keeps a score. Alright? This is the book called Measuring the Info Society by ITU. So far they have produced for 2009. 2009 gave 2002 and 2007 numbers. Okay? This is a link from which you can download this copy. If you want to have a copy on your own but you have nothing to copy this now, you just buzz me or send me by email to you. Okay? So far they have produced for 2009. You can also go to the website to download the latest, which is 2010. Alright? 2010 covers the years 2007, 2008. So as far as the IDI is concerned, we already have 3 years, 2002, 2007, 2008. Alright? Okay. Now where we are. Alright, remember there are 4 numbers to care about. One is the overarching index, the IDI, ICT Development Index. Then you have A, the U, and the S. Okay, the IDI, 2002, we are number 50. And that's not too bad. Okay, 2007, we are 55. It is time to panic. 2008, we are 56. Alright, we seem to be slipping. But look at our scores. There's a funny thing. 2.74 to 3.66 to 3.96. Our scores have improved, you know, but our rankings have slipped. Why? It's because other people are running faster than us. You know what I mean? You are making progress. It's like running a race. You are moving. Your numbers are improving, but your neighbors left and right are running faster than you. Okay? What is this 154 then 159? You see, what happened was when they come out with the first report in 2009, there were only 154 countries. And then in 2010, when they redid it, there was already 159 economies. Okay? Alright. That's the IDI, a repetition. Then you look at access, use, and skills. I've given you 3 years worth of data. You look at the scores. For access, 2.73 up to 3.89 up to 4.38. Okay? Look at our rank. 52. Despite the fact that from 2002 to 2007 we climbed from 2.73 to 3.89, we slipped to rank 63. We are not doing enough, in other words. And then in 2008, we increased our score to 4.38, but we managed to climb only 1 round now. So clearly we're not doing enough. Alright? Okay, use. See, in 2002, the use was 1.09. Look, we more than doubled the score in 2007, you know. Right? If you take 1.09, you times 2, you get only 2.18. Okay? 2.18. Actually, is something higher than that because of the rounding off. But look at the rank. We fell like anything from 27 to 42. And then you look at from 2007 to 2008, we increased our scores, we still fell by 2 rounds. Skills. Ranked number 86 in 2002 with a score of 6.07. In 2007, score of 6.19, marginal improvement. Alright, we fell to rank 98. Where was our weakness? What did I tell you earlier? This is the adult literacy, for which we have no problem really, is in the high 90s. Secondary enrollment, we are in the 60s, which is not really good. Tertiary, we are in the 20s. which is not very good also. Okay, if we can improve that, then we can really improve a lot. But then, as was pointed by management, these are basically outside our ambit, right? We have nothing to do with that. It is the Ministry of Higher Education. So this brings us to the question again. Is this really a good KPI to measure us by? I don't think so, right? Okay. Alright, these are our indicators. Just quickly go through with you. This is all available in our book, which we hope will be published very soon. These are the indicators for what you call the U subindex. We don't have this in 2002. Mobile broadband, we do not have until much later. Alright, and skills. Now this is what I mean. Secondary school, around 70% go to secondary school. When they should be in school, some of them are out of school already. If you look at Sweden, it's pretty high. Alright? You look at tertiary, around 1/4 of Malaysians go to universities. Just now before for Sweden was around 75%. Adult literacy rate, I think this is quite okay, 91.9. And our basis is, if you have gone to secondary school, you are considered literate. Okay? Alright. The next one is, where do we stand? After we're talking about the scoreboard, where do we stand as compared to the community of countries for which we have some relationship? Okay, I've actually singled out the top 10 trading partners of Malaysia. Top 10 trading partners means that your FOB and CIF values add up and you arrange them, sort them, the first 10 are there. South Korea is our biggest trading partner, followed by Japan, Hong Kong, Germany, Singapore, United States, Taiwan, China, Thailand, and Indonesia. And if you look at the ranking, I'm sorry, South Korea is not our largest trading partner. This is arranged by rank. Okay, so please undo that. So this is arranged by rank. Malaysia is like 50 something, right? So we are in between Taiwan and China, around there. Okay. Why did I put an asterisk on Taiwan? Because somehow when I look at this book, the latest book, Taiwan has disappeared. I don't know, it's not there. Alright, probably politics again. Alright, so the numbers I put here are actually 2007 numbers in the old book. ASEAN countries, we're not too badly off. Okay? Alright, we are at number 3. But we lost to Brunei. It's a sad thing. And we should watch over our shoulders, Thailand. But Thailand now got a lot of problems domestically, right? Don't forget Vietnam. Vietnam coming up pretty fast. And today I was reading through a report, there was some compliments paid to Vietnam's ICT efforts. Vietnam is a country to watch. Within 5 years, it might overtake us if you're not careful. If you have worked with Vietnamese before, you find that they are very hardworking. They dare to ask questions, and they're quite different, you know. So if you're not careful, one day we'll be overtaken by Vietnam. All right. Philippines further down, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia. So I think what we need to look out for will be basically Thailand and Vietnam, and try to regain some lost ground. That is why there is some talk you may have heard of trying to catapult us to position number 40. There's a reason. Okay? Singapore is different. It is a city-state. Alright? It doesn't have a hinterland, a rural backland like ours. Okay? So it's easier for them. So if you're going to compare Singapore, basically you should go on a city-to-city basis. Maybe Kuala Lumpur with Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, and so on. Okay? You might also want to know who is in the top 10. Alright? Sweden. The score is 7.85. That's the highest. Luxembourg, 7.71. South Korea this year dropped to position number 3. Denmark, Netherlands, Iceland, despite the volcano erupting, they are number 6, and I think they'll be holding on to that position. Switzerland number 7, Japan number 8, Norway number 9, and UK number 10. You look for US, it's not there. Okay? Now these are the top 10. It's like you are in a class in school, well, first boy, second boy, you also want to know who is last boy, so you don't feel badly off, right? So let's look at the last boys. Sorry, but before that, our neighborhood our neighborhood first, last boy later Okay, I've taken the, I think 5 before Malaysia, 5 after Malaysia, to see whom we can overtake, and to be careful who is behind us. Okay, we don't be overtaken by them. Ahead of us, 5 places, is this country called TFYR Macedonia, Saudi Arabia, Serbia, Chile, Belarus, and then Malaysia. Behind us, 5 places, Turkey, Ukraine, Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil, and Venezuela. These are our neighbors in our neighborhood. These are the people with the potential of climbing over us. And these are the people we must try hard to overtake. Okay? Okay, let's see. The bottom 10. Alright? Congo, number 150. Papua New Guinea at 151. Eritrea, 152. Mozambique, 153. Ethiopia, 154. Burkina Faso. Have you heard of this country? I remember once we were having this interview, KT Center interview, and we are quite, we always try to track cheaters on So we normally put our phone numbers to the system, and then the interview will call us up. And then we will either do an interview and then break off halfway, or we won't answer our phones at all. Then we check the data next day. If there's data there, and we did not give an interview at all, then the guy is cheating. So this girl called me up and she asked me, I think it was a question on, international roaming. And she asked whether I've traveled anywhere in the past 6 months. And I said, yes, I've been to Burkina Faso. And she said, what? He doesn't know where is Burkina Faso. And honestly, I don't know also. I just know it's somewhere in Africa, but you ask me to pinpoint, I can't. Okay? Then you have Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, Niger, and Chad. Last boy is Chad. So you're asked to go for a conference there, I think you did twice. Okay? So all the time we talk about those on top, number 1, number 2, number 3, Sweden, Korea, we all know what the last boy is. And then somewhere in between where we are, those who are in front of us, it's like a race, you don't know who is in front of you and who's at the back. Alright? And remember, even though you try to run as fast as you can, you might not be running fast enough. In other words, we might not be doing enough to project ourselves forwards. Okay, with that, I'd like to open the floor to questions, if you have any. No? Okay, Okay, in that case, I would like to put on record my thanks to Shuhada, my statistician, for helping me put up this presentation and for working with the data. Yeah, she deserves a clap. Yeah. And thank you to all of you for dropping in this evening to listen. All right, thank you very much.